Perfect. All right, Coach. Well, just since it's fresh, can you just talk a little bit about Kenna Sauer and what she's been able to do in the last couple of games?
Yeah, I think overall she's been a program changing player for us, to be honest. I mean, she's come in and done so much in such a short amount of time. This past weekend, 20 kills each match. She was really consistent, and we were putting her in some tough spots because I think Iowa State knew where the ball was going a lot of times. And, but you build that in with her passing and her defense, how she's scoring out of the back row, her block. The first set against Iowa State in the last match, those last 2 points were all on her block. And, it was a good weekend for her. So I don't know. I'm really happy for her, really proud of what she's doing, and happy we got her for a while.
And then I know I'm going back a little bit, but how big was that to get that win over Baylor, just to give your girls some confidence knowing they can compete with anybody?
Yeah, the Baylor win was special just because we needed a win. I mean, we had lost 2 at home against Kansas that were up for grabs, and we just didn't get them. And we knew Baylor was going to be a tough week to follow that up. So, yeah, it was great to get our first one and almost cancel out one of those matches against Kansas that we had lost. So, and that kind of reset where we were with the look forward to.
How have you seen your team progress so far throughout the season? At this point, just, I know they've had some big, kind of a little bit of a roller coaster throughout, but where do you feel like they're at right now?
Yeah, I like where we're at. It seems like every time we put a lot of emphasis on something, we'll spend some time on it. They get better at it. They've been good about the training piece. And so early in the season, it was all about passing and that first touch with serve receive and our serving. And those 2 things have really gotten better. Now we're putting a lot of time into our defense and our transition offense. And so I would expect in the next couple of weeks, those things will get a lot better too.
What challenges does Oklahoma pose? And obviously a road game, I know that adds to it. What kind of threats do they have that you're looking to go up against?
Yeah, they've been a lot better over the last couple of weeks. They've got a lot of new players or players who sat out last year. So there's been some turnover. Right. And so it's on us to get to know them pretty quickly. But they're experienced players. We know, but we hadn't seen them in a while, and they know how to put a ball away. So their setting is much better. They've got an offensive outside hitter who's young. And so, and that gym is hard to play in when they fill it up. So it's going to be a challenge for sure.
What are your kind of expectations from not only these next 2 games, but just kind of the rest of the season? Where do you think this team can go, and where are you hoping they go?
Yeah, you said it. I mean, expectation is the word for us. And I think we're going into every match expecting to win. And that's what we should be doing. And we know that's what everybody else is thinking too when we play. So as long as we're putting ourselves in the fight and we're expecting to be there at the end, and our confidence stays good, all those things, then we feel like outcomes are going to be there for us.
And last question for me, just has there been any other players? You mentioned Kenna being kind of a program changing player. Is there anyone else that's really stepped up to kind of do that as well?
Yeah, I'm really happy with Carrington for all the time that she's missed and all the physical setbacks for her to be here and still putting it out at a high level. And, this is by far the best she's played since she's been here. So I'm really fired up for her. And then some of our ball control players, Alex and Maddie and Kennedy have been really big because we've reset that entire position group this year. So we've got all new passing and digging, and they're doing a great job.
Awesome. I think that's all I have.
Okay. So
Thanks,
a
Coach.
few of the questions I have, going back to kind of Kenna and reiterating how she has played. What is it that she's kind of done differently in these last few weeks, especially into Big 12 play? It seems like she's become like a more important role, and how has she been used maybe either differently or just whether it be just gelling with the team, whatever it may be, that's kind of made her more impactful?
Well, I think it's the volume of work and swings that we're giving her, and then everybody in the gym knowing that when we really need a point, she's probably getting the ball. And that's a tough thing when, you kind of lose offensive balance and you're just giving the ball to maybe your best player at the time. And so when everybody is ready for it and she's got a full defense to beat and she still scores, that tells me everything I know. You need to know. I mean, her competitiveness and just how much she wants that responsibility and she wants to be that player. And so it's pretty cool to watch her evolve like that.
Yeah, so this is her second time obviously winning Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week this season. I think it's been a while since we've had someone win one of those during Big 12 play. So what does that kind of bring to the team as far as like being able to perform like that in against really good opponents?
Yeah, I don't know the last time this happened in Big 12 place, and to have it twice in the same season, I think we'd have to go back a ways. And so it just speaks to what kind of player she is and what season she's having, but also how people are starting to take notice. And we feel really good about the season we're putting together and what our team looks like. But that team is made up of individuals who do it at a high level. And so, it's really great to see her being recognized like that because she really is deserving.
So coming off of the split with Iowa State, what's the next step that you think the team needs to take in order to come away with not just one, but 2 wins on a weekend?
Yeah, it's just finishing out those close sets. That first match went 19-17 in the 5th. And, we were down 2-1 and fought back to get it to 5. And that was up for grabs. We were up 14-12 at one point. So we had it right there. And we just didn't finish. And so we were a lot more competitive in the 5th set than they were against either of the Kansas matches. And so, we'd been talking about regaining momentum and how we were letting things kind of slip when we felt like momentum was lost. And so Iowa State was a big step forward in that. And now, we just needed 1 or 2 more points.
So even though it's obviously a different team on both sides, both Oklahoma and us, but how did those wins maybe last year, the 2 wins against Oklahoma that were kind of the first in a while against them, how does that help you maybe going into this year?
Yeah, that's a good question because so many of these players don't know anything about those matches. They weren't on the court. And even some of our returners were out because of COVID. And so we just know that we needed to get wins against OU. We just hadn't done it in a long time, since 2015. And so we were on a healthy losing streak against them. So it was big just to kind of reset the series and get us thinking a lot differently about them and their program. And so, yeah, I think our expectations are to go out and get a couple more wins.
All right, and the last one I have is, so the game's being pushed up a day. So now Thursday, Friday instead of Friday, Saturday. How did that kind of maybe impact your preparation? Did it really impact it?
A little bit, but I'm happy that we're doing this. I really think at this point, we've got an off weekend coming up after this. The team definitely needs an off weekend, so I'm happy to get to that off weekend as quickly as we can, just from a recovery point and just give them some time off. So, we feel good about where we're at. There's a few things that were on our list for this week. We got them knocked out yesterday and today, and we're ready to get on the road. We feel like we're prepared.